97, E7. Yeah. Should have. Okay, everybody ready? All right, good luck to both teams. Toss it one, off we go. Because this substance inhibits release of prolactin, some antipsychotics cause galactorrhea. Reuptake of norepinephrine and this substance is blocked by cocaine. It is released in the nucleus accumbens and pleasurable experiences and by the... Dopamine? That's power. For 10 each, answer the following about adaptations of William Shakespeare's Macbeth. This composer of Otello and La Traviata composed an operatic version of Macbeth.
Traviata.
Answer? This is Verdi. Dmitri Shostakovich composed an operatic version of a Nikolai Luskov novel about Katerina Ismailova, the so-called Lady Macbeth of this place. Answer?
Spain.
This is the Mtsensk district. And in this Macbeth adaptation by Akira Kurosawa, Washizu becomes lord of the castle in the spider's web forest, then murders his old friend Miki.
Macbeth goes Japanese.
Answer. Okay, this is Throne of Blood. All right, so nothing there. 2, this aspiring heavyweight claimed to be the best friend of Brandon Mess, but skipped his funeral and is now suspected of his murder. In 2012, his husband of Catherine Russell spent 6 months in Russia, but his wife would not move to Dagestan. A Virginia cemetery buried... Prompt.
Tamerlan?
Yeah, that's the one. For 10. Your bonus for 10 each, name these kings associated with the labors of Heracles. Heracles toiled at the whim of this king of Tyrans. Answer?
No. No answer.
This is Eurystheus. Heracles diverted the course of 2 rivers to clean the stables of this king. Answer?
Minus.
This is Augeas. And in the process of one labor, Heracles wrestled death to save Alcestis, the wife of this king.
I don't know these.
Answer?
Just minus again.
This is Admetus, no points. 3, in Brandsburg v. Hayes, the Supreme Court concluded that one of these was not created for journalists by the First Amendment. There is usually a crime-fraud exception to a better-known one of these. That one may be waived if a communication is made in the presence of a third party. For 10 points, give this concept from evidence that keeps certain communications confidential, such...
Privilege.
Yeah, that's what we need. 10. All right, your bonus. 10 each. Answer these questions about medical problems involving the ears. Conduction deafness is a form of hearing loss that can be caused by perforation of what membranous structure that separates the outer ear from the middle ear. Yes. Patients with Meniere's disease may experience episodes of what persistent ringing suffered by Francisco Goya and Ludwig von Beethoven. Yes. And congenital heart disease, eye abnormalities, and deafness are the triad of symptoms resulting from in utero infection by what virus? In children, it causes a rash that usually fades in 3 days. This is rubella.
So,
What? What bonus? This one? No, they got the first 2, so 20.
And no, it was the previous one.
Previous one, they had 0.
Okay.
All right, we're on topic 4. This author wrote about a character who makes a kite out of brown paper and imagines a collision-free ballroom floor. A pen pal visits Port Elizabeth in his work centering on Zachariah.
Regard?
Yeah, power. Your bonus. This mountain range's Salang Pass connects Kabul to points north for 10 each. Name this mountain range that extends eastward from central Afghanistan towards northern Pakistan.
Hindu Kush, right? Hindu Kush?
Yes. The Spingar Mountains, an offshoot of the Hindu Kush, contains this pass that connects Kabul with Peshawar.
Yeah, Khyber.
Yeah, and the Kabul River, which rises in the Hindu Kush and flows 20 miles north of the Khyber Pass, is a tributary of this river.
Indus, right? Indus.
30. Toss it 5. The seizure of the Marquis de Olinda started this war, which included the naval battles of Riachuelo and an expedition to the Mato Grosso. Bartolome Mitre opposed a settlement of this war, which did not end until the death of Francisco Solano Lopez. This 1864 to 1870 war wiped out most of the male population of Paraguay. For 10 points, name this war in which Paraguay was defeated by 3 other South...
War of the Triple Alliance.
It is. Bonus. This poem says that one of the title organisms may wear a nest of robins in her hair. For 10 points each, name this sentimental 1913 work which states, "Poems are made by fools like me." Answer? This is Trees. Trees was written by this American poet who died in World War One. Answer. This is Joyce Kilmer, and this poet of light verse parodied Trees in Song of the Open Road and created unusual rhymes such as, "Who wants my jellyfish? I'm not sellyfish."
Some weird Kerouac.
No. Kerouac.
Answer.
Kerouac.
This is Ogden Nash, no points. Toss of 6. A 1937 book takes up Ernst Sellen's argument that the Jewish guilt complex arises from the murder of this Old Testament figure. The Church of San Pietro in Vincoli houses a statue of this man that was commissioned for the tomb of Julius II. A Sigmund Freud book is titled For This Man and Monotheism, and a Michelangelo statue
Moses.
Yes, for 10. The first European fleet to round the southern tip of Africa did so in 1488, 10 each. It was under the command of this Portuguese nobleman.
Diaz.
Yes, Diaz sailed for John II, the great-nephew of this Portuguese prince who developed exploration.
Yeah, Henry the Navigator.
Yes, and among his other goals, Diaz was to search for the fabled African kingdom of this Christian king, or presbyter, mentioned in the travels of Sir John Mandeville.
What? Congo? Congo?
This is Prester John, 20 points. 7. This city at the foot of Mount Ntoto lies at the edge of the Awash River Basin. In 2001, the African Union was established in this city, once the headquarters of the OAU. Its Metzkel Square was renamed Revolution Square by the Derg after the 1974 fall of the ruling monarchy. The Australopithecus fossil, Lucy, is on display in this city, the resting place of Haile Selassie. For 10 points.
Addis Ababa.
Yeah, for 10. Bonus. For 10 each, name the following about surfactants. Surfactants lower this quantity, describing the tendency of a liquid to shape itself to minimize its surface area. It arises due to internal cohesive forces.
What's it called? Surface tension? Surface tension.
Yes? Surfactants can form these spherical structures in solution. They consist of a hydrophobic core and a hydrophilic exterior.
Oh, what are those called? I'm talking like cells where they have a cell wall.
Answer.
Selectively permeable.
These are micelles. And the surfactant lecithin, found in cell membranes, was initially discovered in a fluid in this structure. The first lygozymes were also isolated from a fluid in this structure.
I'll go with that. Mitochondria?
This is just eggs. Toss-up. During this geologic period, Baltica was entirely south of the Tropic of Capricorn, and most of present-day North America was covered by the shallow Sauk Sea. Shelled animals first emerged during this period, and study of Hox genes suggests that all extant animal phyla first emerged during this period that began about 540 million years ago. For 10 points, identify this geologic period with the namesake explosion.
Cambrian?
Yeah. 10 each, give the following about dragons. The story of Bel and the dragon sometimes appears in this prophet's namesake book. He read the writing on the wall and survived the lion's den.
You want to go with that?
David?
Daniel. This country's King Sigismund founded the Order of the Dragon to repel Turkish incursions. Its other rulers include Stephen I and Matthias Corvinus.
Wait, no, Hungary.
Yes, and Operation Dragon Strike targeted the Taliban in this southeastern Afghan province, whose namesake city is Mullah Omar's hometown.
Kandahar, maybe? Kandahar.
20 on the bonus. Toss-up. Strabo's geography contrasts these people with the bards and the seers, or vates. In the Ulster cycle, a claim that it is a good day to conceive a king prompts Ness to sleep with one named Cathbad. They allegedly placed humans in effigies to be burnt in a wicker man ritual described by Julius Caesar.
Druids.
Yes, for 10. Your bonus. This character engineers the death of her son Drusus and helps her other son Tiberius to become emperor. For 10 points each, name the scheming wife of Augustus, a memorable villain in a 1934 historical novel.
Yeah.
Answer? This is Livia. Livia is the grandmother of this stammering disabled Roman emperor, the title character of 2 novels by Robert Graves.
Claudius.
Yes, and Claudius knows his successor will be Nero after hearing a prophecy from one of these figures at the beginning of I, Claudius. Another of these figures accompanies Aeneas into the underworld in the Aeneid.
An oracle?
No, the three people.
Answer.
The Fates.
Fates.
These are Sybil, so 10 on that bonus. Toss-up. In one of this author's novels, Ben Redmond shoots at but does not kill Bayard. In another of his novels, Lucius Priest rides to Memphis in his grandfather's stolen car with Boone Hogenbeck. In addition to The Reavers and The Unvanquished, he wrote a novel in which Dewey Dell seeks contraception in a drugstore and Vardaman says, "My mother is a fish." For 10 points, name this author of As I Lay Dying.
Faulkner.
It is for 10. Your bonus. In this work, the movements La Paix and Les Réjouissances celebrate the Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle. For 10 each, name this work commissioned by King George II. Answer.
Messiah.
No, it's Royal Fireworks music. The Royal Fireworks music is often paired with this other Georg Friedrich Handel work, first performed for George I on the River Thames.
Water music.
Yes, and Handel wrote several of these dramatic works similar to operas, but generally performed without costumes or scenery. Examples include Judas Maccabeus.
I forget what they call it, operettas.
These are oratorios, so 10 on that bonus, and that's the half.
Yeah, 75 to 155.
Check?
Good.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, toss of 11 is where we will start. Good luck. Off we go. This book claims that the title theory was asserted by the youth Socrates against the popular morality of Protagoras. That assertion, along with the criticism of the metaphysics of ethics by Kant, appears in the general remarks that begin this work. It defends the greatest happiness principle in ethics. For 10 points, name this book published in 1863, A Defense of the Title School of Moral Thought by John Stuart Mill.
On Liberty?
No, no penalty.
Hedonism?
It's utilitarianism, toss of 12. This movement was founded by a group with the motto God and the People, and it was spurred by the publication of the novel The Betrothed and the expulsion of Austrian troops under the Pact of Plombières. It shared its name with a newspaper founded by Count Cavour. Giuseppe Mazzini's Young Italy movement sparked for 10 points. What movement of Italian unification which draws its name from the word?
Risorgimento?
Yes. For 10. Your bonus, total internal reflection has many applications. For 10 points each, these high-speed networking cables transmit data as light waves inside a high-index core surrounded by low-index cladding.
Fiber optics?
Yes. Inkless fingerprint readers use this variant of total internal reflection in which evanescent waves reach a second interface very close to the first and then propagate as a transmitted beam. Answer?
Reflection.
This is prompt, I guess.
Internal reflection?
Internal reflection?
Prompt.
Internal critical reflection?
Internal critical
No, this is frustrated is the word we need. A gonio lens is placed directly on this body part to measure the angle between it and the iris. That angle can track developing glaucoma.
Well, that's a quality that we have
Eye.
Answer?
Cornea, maybe? Yeah. Cornea.
Yes, it is. All right,
Bless
20
you, bless
winner.
you.
Toss of 13. This value was surpassed by Purcell and Pound using magnetized nuclear spins. When this value holds, electrons form a C up to the Fermi energy. A quantum harmonic oscillator has residual energy of h bar over 2 times the frequency. Well, Walter Nernst showed that processes at this point are isentropic, implying the third law of thermodynamics. For 10 points, name this point equal to negative 273.
Absolute zero.
It is. Your bonus. The host of this show published the 2004 book, All I Did Was Ask. For 10 points each, name this interview show hosted by Terry Gross that usually comes after All Things Considered.
Oh.
Answer? This is Fresh Air. Fresh Air is hosted on this radio network that also broadcasts the trivia show. Wait, don't tell me.
NPR.
Yep. And Darrison Keeler hosts this NPR variety show that usually includes a monologue about events in Lake Wobegon.
Graham Companion.
Yes, for 20. Toss it. This state's Valles caldera is a supervolcano in the Jemez Mountains whose tuff was used as rock shelters at nearby Bandelier National Monument. Its portion of the Sangre de Cristo range includes Wheeler Peak as well as the headwaters of the Pecos River. Dunes of gypsum crystals cover its white sands missile.
Mexico.
It is for 10. During the 1970s, this organization's actions were investigated by the Church Committee. 10 each, named the spy agencies whose directors have included George Tenet and William Webster.
CIA.
Yep. The CIA was a successor to this World War II era agency, which was led by Wild Bill Donovan.
OSS.
Yep. And this future president led the CIA after the Church Committee investigation. Under Richard Nixon, he served as ambassador to the UN.
Okay. Yeah.
Bush.
Prompt?
H.W. Bush.
Yes, that's fine, for 30. Toss it. This film ends with one character complaining about his financial cut while getting his Ferrari. Earlier, Riley brags
National Treasure.
power. Bonus. Stokes' law states that in laminar flow, this force is proportional to velocity. 10 each, name this force that balances gravity at terminal velocity and which opposes the motion of objects through a fluid.
Drag. Drag.
Answer.
Drag.
Yep. The drag coefficient goes as the velocity squared at high values for this dimensionless number, which is equal to velocity times a characteristic length scale divided by viscosity. Answer?
Surface tension.
This is Reynolds' number, and this man's paradox states that an object moving with constant velocity through a inviscid, incompressible fluid feels zero drag. Answer? This is D'Alembert, so just 10 for drag. Toss-up. One of these animals will be killed with a shoe made of all the leather scraps in the world. Two of these animals will devour the sun and the moon before Ragnarok. That pair is Hati and Skuld. One of these animals severed one of Tyr's hens and was bound with a chain made of the roots of mountains and the beards of women. For 10 points, name this animal, exemplified in Norse myth by Fenrir.
Wolf.
It is. The Chicxulub crater lies off the coast of this peninsula. 10 points each. Name the southeastern Mexican peninsula, the site of Mayan ruins in the city of Cancun. Yeah. This bay lies off the north coast of the Yucatan Peninsula. In 1979, the Ixtoc-1 oil rig suffered a blowout in this bay, leading to a major oil spill.
That's not bad. Just say it.
Answer?
Just say it.
Time. This is the Bay of Campeche. And the Zapatista Army of National Liberation, or EZLN, was formed in this Mexican state southwest of the Yucatan Peninsula that includes the Mayan site of Palenque. Answer, no, this is Chiapas, so 10 points. Toss-up. In one style of this dance, Rueda de Casino, a circle of people dance according to the calls of one person. The Suelta uses techniques from this dance without a partner. This dance usually consists of 3 steps and 4 beats, including a break step to change directions, with an emphasis on swaying hip movement.
Tango?
No, my spot. For 10 points, name this dance style that originated from the son music of Cuba.
Reggae?
Salsa. Toss-up. The reagent NBS is used to add this element. An ethidium salt of this element is used to stain DNA after gel electrophoresis. 2 atoms of this element are bonded to the benzene rings of the dye Tyrian purple and to the benzene rings of a thymol blue derivative used as a pH indicator. It and mercury are the only elements that are liquid at room temperature. For 10 points.
Bromine.
Yes, for 10. Your bonus. He defeaed Marshal Soult at the Battle of Orte. For 10 points each, name this Anglo-Irish general whose brother Richard served as Governor-General of India.
I don't know.
Answer?
Nelson?
This is Wellesley. Wellington. Wellington used an elm tree as his command post at this 1815 battle.
Waterloo?
Yes, and Wellington defeated an attack by Joseph Bonaparte's army at this 1809 battle, fought near a Spanish center of the ceramics industry. Answer?
Bassville.
This is the Battle of Talavera, so 20. Toss-up. One character who reads this work comments, "Somebody killed something." That's clear at any rate. This work is partly explained by Humpty Dumpty, whose theory was endorsed by this work's author in The Hunting of the Snark. The words fuming and furious were combined to form frumious in this poem that mentions a...
Jabberwocky.
For 10. Your bonus. Jean-Baptiste Clémence reveals his life story while sitting in an Amsterdam bar in this author's The Fall. For 10 each. Name this author who also wrote about the development of Jacques Cormery in the posthumously published The First Man.
No idea.
Answer?
No day.
This is Albert Camus. In this Camus novel, the French-Algerian Marceau shoots a knife-wielding man whom he encounters on the beach. Yes, and this 1942 Camus essay considers the absurd man and concludes that the title figure teaches the higher fidelity that negates the gods and raises rocks. This is the myth of Sisyphus. 10 on that.
Time out.
And also, on the last question we got, I think you gave us 2 minutes.
Okay, well, thank you for that honesty, but let's check. That was,
Yeah, you got 1 bonus, so it was 1
that
on the
was
total
on which
question.
one? The
No, only one.
oh, you didn't get Wellesley. Yeah, right. So that's 10. Sorry.
Wait,
10 bonus?
Yeah, 10 on that. Okay, and we can do a score check, and we're at.
It's tied.
205.
It's tied?
205.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we have a minute 28 left. We thank you. Yeah, appreciate that. And we are on toss at 20. Okay. All right. Okay. Good luck. Founded by the head of the Women's Peace Party, this institution served as the basis for its founders, the long road of women's memory. It was inspired by Canon Barnett's establishment of Toynbee Hall in London and remains open as a museum, but its official operations ended in January 2012. For 10 points, name the Settlement House, founded to provide opportunity to Chicago's...
Toll House.
Yes, it is for 10. Toss, bonus. For 10 each, name these Hall of Famers selected in the 1989 NFL Draft. This UCLA quarterback was the first overall pick and led the Dallas Cowboys to 3 Super Bowl wins.
Troy Aikman.
Yeah, this Heisman Trophy winning running back from Oklahoma State was the 3rd pick of the draft by the Detroit Lions.
Barry Sanders.
Yes, and the 4th pick of the draft had 126.5 career sacks for the Kansas City Chiefs before his untimely death in 2000.
Shoot. There's his name.
Answer?
I'm gonna guess Reggie White.
This is Derek Thomas, 20. Toss it. For a single sampling, this probability distribution is equivalent to the hypergeometric distribution since it doesn't matter whether replacement occurs. It approaches the Poisson distribution if the mean is constant while n goes to infinity. A sum of independent Bernoulli trials with an identical chance of success produces for 10 points what distribution sharing its name with algebraic expressions with two terms? Here.
Gaussian.
No.
Binomial.
Yes. Just kidding. Bonus. Conservatives blasted this man's methods as biased, but he correctly predicted the outcome of the 2012 presidential election for every state. For 10 years,
Yes.
he's author of The Signal and the Noise.
Nate Silver,
Yep. Silver writes this New York Times blog named for the total number of votes in the Electoral College.
538.
Yep. And in the 2008 election, Silver incorrectly predicted this state would go to Kane. Mike Pence edged John Gregg in his 2012
Indiana.
30.
Did you guys know the binomial?
Yeah.
You did?
The 205 to 275.
I didn't know.
So 275, 205.
Great game. Great game.
How it shakes out.